Murdered is an interesting take on the murder mystery genre, where you actually play as the ghost of someone who's been murdered, and now you actually have to track down and bring your killer to justice. The core pillars of Murdered are, first and foremost, it's the nature of the investigation. We want the player to really become invested in the story we're trying to tell as Ronan works to bring his killer to justice. One of the other core pillars is the notion of the ghostliness of the game. Ronan is a ghost, and it's a huge emphasis on not only the worlds that we build, but how it impacts the investigation.
It's a ghost world, but it's also part of the living world too. You see snippets of ghost geometry, ghost objects, and things like that, but it's on this kind of thin balance between horror and psychological thriller.
I think that it's really refreshing, the story that we're telling. It's a different story than you usually find in video games. It's a very personal, very singular story with a strong central character, and just the nature of the fact that you're trying to discover your own murderer, it's a really, really interesting spin.
The killer came here for a reason. But what was it?
So in terms of influencing the story, it came from lots and lots of different angles. Obviously we wanted to look at really famous ghost lore. We wanted to extrapolate from those as much as we could, like really common themes and types of characters, types of stories explored in ghost stories.
Hey, why did you run?
Everything from really slow, drawn out, tense moments to jump scares to things that are extremely grotesque, to make sure that we're kind of sewing everything together that you would expect to find in a ghost story. What is normally the end of the game is now our beginning. And after that happens, you and the protagonist are put in this world where you're trying to figure out, what can I use, what works the way I expect, what do I have to learn that's new.
Knob ain't even moving, it's stuck.
How can I explore this world and have the best time I can here.
Because our protagonist is a ghost, you can't approach a crime scene the way you would in any other investigation game. Ronan can't pick up the evidence and roll it around in his fingertips and get a sense of what it is. He can't actually physically interact with it. And so that sort of limitation forces the player to come at investigations from a different perspective. But as a ghost, he has abilities and strengths that no living detective could have. He can possess human beings, and while you can't really completely control human beings, you can look through their eyes, you can hear through their ears, you can read their minds in some instances. You can do simple behaviors as well. And it really empowers the player to see the crime scene from the perspective of the people who are in it. And it changes the nature of how you go about investigating the space. No longer are you just looking for evidence in the environment, you're looking for evidence from within the people in the space.
Look, this is not your scene, Lieutenant. Just pay your respects and move on, please.
Yeah. Maybe it's not my scene, but it is my case.
There are so many elements that you want the player to be able to uncover themselves and discover for themselves, as opposed to, and feel like they're discovering for themselves, as opposed to, just go here, find that, go here, find that, go here, find that.
I gotta see if they found any leads that I don't already know about.
I think everybody loves a good mystery, and getting a chance to sort of weave that web is really what helps draw me to this properly.